Hello friends and welcome to today's Asana Lab series featuring Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, also known as Upward Facing Dog. This asana is really a powerful and beautiful energizing back bend. A couple things to be aware of is for your wrist, if you have any wrist pains, shoulder pain or back pain, you may want to stay with the Sphinx Pose or using Shalabhasana to really strengthen your back. I will show that at the end of this tutorial. So we're going to be looking at those three elements again. So the alignment, the drishti, your gaze, and your breath. For your breath, upward facing dog is coming up on an inhale. We're inhaling, we're opening up. For your drishti, it's slightly up. You don't want to arch your neck so much, but you just want to create a bit of that length in the neck. And the alignment is going to be shown during my demonstration. So I'm going to show you how to transition to it from a chaturanga, also from a knees, chest, chin. And then I'm going to show you the transition out of it, coming back to tabletop to child's pose, and then the downward dog, and then straight, also straight from upward facing dog to downward facing dog. So if you're ready, let's get started. Starting on our mats, let's start with the knees, chest, chin. So we're coming into plank position here. We're taking a big inhale here through the nose. And we're going to take your knees, chest, chin, and now we're going to slide forward. Our belly's now on the mat. The top of your feet are pressing down on the mat, and then you're lifting your chest up, pressing into the mat with all 10 fingers. This is Baby Cobra, okay? So again, full upward dog is going to be lifting your thighs off the mat. So I'm pressing into the mat with the top of my feet and my hands. My thighs are lifted off. My sternum is being pulled forward. I'm opening my chest. Alignment of my wrists are right over my shoulders. My gaze is forward or slightly up. My tailbone is tucked under me. Lengthening the spine. My pelvis is moving forward. You should feel this, a nice little back bend here. Again, Cobra, for those that want to try and not strain the back too much and are not ready for full upward dog, you can come and you're basically leaving your hip bones grounded and your thighs are grounded. And you're not lifting up so high. So take it again to your level. You might just be doing it here. And you might also like to play around with Sphinx, which is basically you're on your forearms. Your hands are on the ground as such. And this is also a beautiful back bend, slightly gentler and also nice to stretch out those abs. And your gaze is forward. So a lot of modifications, and really take the time to practice, take the time to stay, meet yourself where you're at. If you're in Sphinx for a couple of weeks, couple of days, that's great. And slowly move yourself up to upward facing dog. Now coming out of this, for sonification, the easiest is pressing in the hands. If you're coming from Cobra, pressing into your hands, coming on your knees, and then pressing back to our counter pose, which is child's pose, Asana. Okay? For my more advanced students, we're here in upward facing dog. And then we're going to press into the mat with our hands as we lift our hips up. Now you see the top of my feet are also lifting off or pressing into the mat. And this is actually a great exercise to stretch the tops of your feet here. You can do this and do nice waves. Coming back to upward facing dog. And this, if you want to go to downward facing dog, just roll your toes and gently come into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. you're ready, you could also press back into child's pose to round out your back, and then start again. So those were all the modifications from more easier version to the full upward facing dog. If you'd like to strengthen your back even more, I'd highly recommend trying Balasana. Not Balasana, Shalabhasana. Balasana is for after, to rest. So Shalabhasana, a couple variations, but this is really going to be a nice asana to strengthen the back. So reaching your arms behind you, palms on the ground, lifting your feet off the mat, your thighs as well, and your chest is also off the mat. And just breathe here normally. If you'd like more of a shouldering, open your shoulders a bit more, you can clasp your hands and really press those hands toward the back of the mat. You can point your index fingers if you'd like. Gaze forward. That just gives you a nice bigger opening in the chest, the front side of your body. Okay. If you'd like to do more of a Pilates exercise to strengthen your back, you can do swimmers, alternating your arms and your leg, just kicking, and the list goes on. You can also hang out here in Sphinx, but also try and lift your legs up. Your legs off the mat. So your thighs are slightly off the mat, your feet are off the mat, and you'll feel that in the lower back. So we're trying to strengthen the back here so that your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, I'm going to show it one more time, is nice and strong. So here I'm starting from belly on the ground, and I'm going to press myself forward. I'm sliding slightly forward, making sure that my wrists are right on top of my shoulders. This was on an inhale. I came up, my thighs are off the mat, pressing firmly into the mat with all my 10 fingers. Tops of my feet are also pressing, my tippy toes are pointing to the back. Chest is moving forward. Then exhale, little hips up, untuck your toes and coming into downward. Beautiful. One last modification, or the full upward facing dog, coming from Chaturanga. So remember the first Asana Lab was Chaturanga Dandasana, and now we're just going to add the upward facing dog. So we're combining the whole vinyasa together. So let's start from Plankasana here. We're going to inhale. And on our exhale, slowly coming down to Chaturanga, making sure your shoulder is in a straight line with your elbow, pointing back. Untucking your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Beautiful. So this is a bit more advanced because your thighs are never on the mat here. And then pressing your hips up and coming into downward facing dog. So this vinyasa in itself is beautiful to practice and keep on practicing to get into the flow, combining movement and breath. But again, at the beginning, I wanted to show how the upward facing dog will look like on itself, by itself, and then after combining the entrance, how we're getting into the asana and how we're getting out of it. And since it's a back bend, really make sure you do Balasana, child's pose afterwards, for as long as you need to really round out that back and make sure we're not hurting ourselves. So practice, let me know how your upward facing dogs are looking and how you're feeling about it. Give me a comment below, and until next time, enjoy your practice, stay safe.